Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the Bogey Free podcast for the 3M Open. I'm your host, Evan Cheney, and today joined by my co-host, Matt Jones. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm good. Just getting started on summer break and all the craziness that goes with that. But yeah, trying to get into my flow here.
I heard you had some traffic issues.
Yeah, had a little bit of some traffic problems, so we're starting a little late tonight. But that's all right. Right, it happens. You're just
It does.
sitting online tilting the Sixers. So what does it really matter if I'm like a half an hour
All
late?
right. First off, Sixers going to win the championship. Already locked that in.
What championship?
First off, they're going to be the greatest defensive team ever fielded.
The G League.
No, it's
They're getting
Al
relegated.
Horford. Al Horford's not going to be guarding Joel anymore, so Joel is just going to nut on everyone. Josh Richardson is a tremendous defensive upgrade over JJ Redick.
I feel like you
And
were complaining about all these people.
Twitter. Okay, so my Twitter on Sunday versus me right now on Tuesday, very different.
No, you locked everything in. It's too late.
Well, I'm now obliged to be a Josh Richardson stan account, so
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine.
Anyway, yeah, this whole 3M Open, like,
Yeah.
what? Just I get that, like, they're the sponsor, but like, can we come up with like a flashier name? I don't know. It's not doing it for me. What?
The posted invitational.
So, immediately better. Yep, there you go. Perfect.
I gotta email that one to whoever's in the marketing department. It's their idea, it's their job, right? To kind of name these things.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know.
Somebody's job.
I see TPC Twin Cities, right? And I see Blaine, Minnesota, because that's where this is, right?
Yep.
And I'm thinking, is this possibly just Twin Peaks?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know if that reference even hit, but that's fine.
I'm sure one of our 11 listeners is rolling in their car right now on the way to work on Wednesday morning.
That's fine. I mean, anything. See, I got to keep people on their toes, right?
Yeah.
Because even if my job is to just antagonize. Oh, God. Hold on.
There it is. All right.
The microphone's dying.
Really off to a great start.
Keep talking.
If anybody makes it to the end of this show, it's going to be a fucking miracle. Oh, man. All right. Well, I'll just talk about the course while Evan is on mute and working on the mic.
We're good. No, the thing just fell off the stand.
Totally professional operation we have running here.
Go ahead.
So as Evan mentioned, it's TPC Twin Cities, whatever the hell. It's a course that hasn't been on the rotation before. It's the first time that Minnesota has held a PGA Tour event that's not a major since the 60s. Par 71, pretty long, 7,400 yards. Bent grass greens, pretty average size, 6,500 square feet. 72 bunkers, 27 water hazards. Nothing too crazy. It's a little linksy. I don't know. It's kind of a Arnold Palmer design. Like, it's kind of just it's not like a really noteworthy course to me. I think it'll be reasonably easy. It won't be, we were just talking about it before. I don't think it's going to be a crazy birdie fest like we saw last week, where the winner gets to like the mid-20s under par. I think some predictions that I saw were like around 14. I think that makes sense. So yeah, we should be in for a decent tournament. It's a little bit of a better field this week. Really just like gearing up towards the Open coming up soon. So
I thought we were all getting ready for John Deere.
Yeah, can't wait for that one. Yeah, so this field is a little whatever. It's pretty top heavy. There's a few guys that we have been on for a while that have been doing well in the field. So it'll be interesting to see where, who we end up landing on. If there's a couple of guys that maybe pop up that we weren't, that we haven't been playing lately, because there are some random guys in the field this week.
Absolutely. I think we should stress how random some of these guys are. Um, so I mean, let's talk about this because obviously we're looking at another new course.
Yep,
What are we? Are there comps? Are there any course comps?
probably.
Probably means
I don't delve.
they exist.
I don't delve into that
Well, I
personally.
think. Well, no, I think. I mean, most weeks you don't need comps because we have a lot of data on a lot of these courses, right? Like
Yeah.
if we're sitting here in Masters Week and we're talking about how this thing's going to play out and what stats we want to look at, things like that, we have decades of course data
Hmm.
to sift through with Augusta, right? But right here, we don't have that. And I think if you can identify comp courses, you have an edge this week. Because you can at least look at stats that might be important. Certain your skill types that will be preferred over others, right? So I think like this and last week, comp courses are are an edge if you can find them.
Sure.
That's just my take. That face you have right now is just
I just
there's so many words.
there's so much that goes into like trying to, I don't know. I just think there's so much noise. Like people try to look at like other leaderboards and like see, oh, like this guy's done well at these 4 courses and
Well,
these
no, I
5 courses, and it's
yeah.
great. But a lot of times it doesn't mean dick, and it's a lot of
Mm.
effort for something that I haven't been able to. I have never been able to quantify outside of just saying, oh, it's also a par 71 and oh, it is longer than X and shorter than Y, then sure. Like
Well,
it,
yeah.
there's
So
that kind of thing. But
so I think I should just kind of elaborate more of what I was trying to say. So like when I'm talking about comp courses, my idea of finding a comp course is going on Fantasy National, and sorting through, courses that have similar difficulty of hitting fairways, right? Similar difficulty scoring to par, um, similar par, right? So things like that, I do look at that as comp courses. Then I go in, I dive in and say, okay, this is the leaderboard. These are the stats associated with each player, right? So I go into the respective tournament and say, okay, this is how many strokes a player had to gain greens and regulation, right? So this is how many strokes a player had to gain off the tee, and kind of see, okay, this is how important each stat is to each spot in the leaderboard on similar courses.
right.
Right. So kind of just building that out. Because again, how much do we really know about this course? Right. So the best we can at least try to do is find stats that work at similar courses and
Yeah.
go from there. And that's really all I'm trying to say when it comes to comp courses.
Right.
Right. So speaking of stats, what are you looking at to build a player pool this week?
I'm sort of still leaning towards what I said last week. When there's not like a true reason for me to really latch on to a particular thing off the tee, I just go pretty heavy with ball strikers and guys who've been scoring well recently, and just try to simplify it as much as possible. I mean, the DNA of this course, if you will, like a par 71 that's this long, you would have to imagine that that some distance off the tee would certainly help. I mean, it helps no matter what. It's just a matter of how much trouble guys are going to get into depending on how far they spray it off the fairway if they miss. So maybe a slight bump to distance, but I don't think I'm going to let a distance versus accuracy argument sway me on or off a guy if they're hitting a lot of greens and they're scoring well recently.
All right, that's fair enough. I mean, I do agree with you on the ball striking aspect. I think, being able to hit accurate shots, especially with your irons, is going to work on any course, right?
Yeah.
I think Yeah, especially if we look at recent form, as far as that's concerned, I think we'll be able to build a decent player pool off that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. All right. So let us get to the chalk. So let's look at the expensive chalk first. We have Brooks Koepka at 11,900. How are we feeling about Brooks this week? This isn't a major, so God only knows if he's going to care.
Yeah, he's 11.9. He's the most expensive guy on the slate. I mean, he's gonna hit a million greens. He's probably gonna putt well. He's probably gonna play well. Like, what are you gonna say about Brooks? Like, if he decides that he's gonna play this week, then he could probably lap most of the guys in the field. It seems like it's more a measure of, or a question of how motivated he is, more so than if he's in form or if he's talented enough or whatever. Like, we know that he has all the skill in the world. I mean, he's been playing well. It sounds stupid, but what was it? The Travelers, the week after the US Open, he finished like in the 50s, I think, something like that. And he was on the cut line heading into the weekend. Like, he easily could have just been like, fuck this. Like, I'm not playing the weekend. I just like tax myself at Pebble Beach and I'm good. Like, I'm going to go home and take a couple weeks off. So I don't know, maybe there's a part of him that is going to, try and get it rolling on non-majors. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you not to play him. The model that I have has him priced at like 10.5, so I think he's overpriced based on the rest of the field, and I think there's a few guys that I prefer over him. But I'm not gonna make a strong case against Brooks.
Well, no, it's impossible to make a statistical argument against him.
Right,
but
it's all in between his ears.
Yeah, what sucks? I mean, that's the thing too. It sucks because there's no way for us to really quantify it. Right, and it's like, as someone who's going to gamble on this, it sucks not knowing what type of player you're going to get out of him, just because you don't know if he's going to care about it or not. Like, you can invest all this money in him, and he's just not going to care, and that's the frustrating part.
And I think it's important I think it's interesting to kind of draw this parallel with some of the younger guys that we're going to talk about throughout the show, or if we don't get to them, you'll hear them talked about elsewhere. The Hovlands and the Morikawas, all these guys are super young, right? Super inexperienced, and I don't think personally that there's a question about any of their talents, but it's a matter of if they can hold it together for 4 days with all the responsibilities that they have now as professionals and yada, yada, yada. It's the same exact thing, but it's with a guy who's won a crap ton of majors and dominates some of the best fields in the world.
I mean, you're talking about different types of mental situations, though. I mean, you're talking about one guy who just doesn't care.
Well, just from the sense of like not being able to quantify it, like you can say, oh, they're averaging this many greens in regulation, they're gaining this many strokes on approach, and then they show up and one of these young guys, the moment's too big for them. Or for Koepka, he is thinking about getting on his boat on Saturday instead of his tee time. Like, it's a real thing. Like, I don't know how to quantify any of that. So he's going to hit a lot of greens. If he putts well and he's in it to start, I think that he plays really well. I think if he struggles on Thursday on his front nine, there's a very reasonable chance that he's just like, fuck it, I'm going home.
Why even enter the tournament at that point? I know he's got to like warm himself up, I guess, for the Open, but
yeah. No, well, I don't know.
I feel like someone like him would just rather fly over there and just play a bunch of links courses.
Yeah.
Rather than waste everyone's time here. But that's just my opinion. Whatever. All right, so we will go to our cheaper chalk options where we have Joaquin Niemann and Victor Hovland. 9,300 and 9,100 respectively. How are we feeling about these guys this week? I know we just talked about kind of the mental aspect here and Hovland's, the inexperience here, but
I
I mean, he's
mean,
still a damn good golfer who can
yeah,
dominate this week.
and I think that I think he's a special case. We've seen him 2 weeks in a row now be kind of flirting with the cut line on Friday and end up making the cut. Last week he turned that into I think 15th or 13th or something place finish. The week before he made the cut and then kind of struggled on the weekend. So I'm less concerned about that. I'm a little bit concerned that this is going to be his 4th week playing in a row, which is a little bit concerning. But over his past 3 starts, he's hitting 70% of his greens. He's averaging over 6 strokes tee to green. So like he's doing everything well. It's just the highest price that he's been. It's the most popular that he's probably going to be. So you really have to decide if you're willing to eat that ownership. I think with Neiman right there, that I won't have, and Eam right below him, and even Finau in that range, I don't think I'm going to have a ton of him. I think I'm probably just going to end up matching the field and just sort of, trying to insulate myself if he does go crazy, but also being realistic about his range of outcomes so early in his career. But I love watching the kid, and I think he's going to be really great for the rest of the year. But this is a lot of golf that he's been playing, and it's a lot of travel. He went from California to Connecticut to wherever the hell they were last week, Detroit. So he's been around, and I don't know that he's completely used to that. So he could be, running a little low on gas there. Neiman, I think, is like a total smash this week. He's had a couple of top 5s in a row now. He's doing everything well. He's playing exactly like he did when we saw him come out in the first place in Texas last year and string together a couple of good starts. So if he can sort of continue trending in this direction and can just stay a little bit more consistent than he's been, because he has had a couple of rounds where you're kind of like, damn, dude, like you probably could have won this thing. Not last week, obviously, because Lashley wasn't going to be caught no matter what happened. No. But in a normal week, it seems like there's that one round that he sort of pushes himself out and has to make a charge on Saturday or Sunday. So either way, I think Neiman makes a ton of sense. 9,300 is a pretty, I think it's a pretty fair price. He's a little underpriced based on that model that I've been referencing. And Hovland too is a few $100s too cheap according to that as well. So I'm fine with either of these guys. If you want to go all in on either of them, I wouldn't fault you at all.
Yeah. There's just no reason to kind of fade these guys. Again, for the statistical reasons.
Right.
All right. So, before we talk about our pivots, let's talk about the not 3-man. The contest for I don't know why I said 3-man.
I think because the top 3 pay.
I've been reading this for, I don't know, however long we've been doing the show.
That's fine. I forgive you. You don't have to. Yeah. So same deal that it's been. 50 guys, top 3 payout. I believe I'm trying to pull it up. Who won last week? I forget. Yeah. So the usual. We might make it a little bit bigger for the Open, but we'll talk about that in a couple weeks. Yeah, Action OC won this past week, beat out Papa Jones by half a point right at the end there. So shout outs to my dad too for coming in second. I was in 7th, by far my best performance in the last few weeks. So that was good to see. Yeah, it was a I don't know. It was a weird week, like not even having the winner eligible for the player pool. It was kind of strange, but
It
um,
was, yeah.
every time I looked, I had Tringali in my listener league lineup, and I'm like, all right, if he can win, then he's gonna jump up 10 points, but nobody else is gonna lose 10 points because nobody has Lashley. So I was doing way too much mental math on that one.
Yeah, there was a lot going on with that. I don't know. It was a weird week.
I had a sweat in the birdie. It was a good week for me. So we're trying to keep it going now. So hopefully these maybe this will be my new brand, like the shitty first time at a course with awful fields is just going to be like my smash spot from now on.
So I mean, how often do we get that?
Oh, I mean, hey, at least I got something, right?
I guess.
If it happens again this week, then that's.
I guess it's a trend if it happens twice.
Thing.
Yeah.
And then I have to wait. Then I have to wait till next year.
Do we even get a new course next year? Aside from any majors, obviously.
I don't know. I don't know that they've released the whole schedule for next year yet.
Oh man, what a time to be alive!
Oh boy.
All right. Anyway, let's get to some GPP picks here. Obviously, we talked about Brooks, but there is a pivot that is $800 cheaper in Hideki Matsuyama at 11,100. There's also Jason Day, Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Reed, and Rory Sabatini. Where are you going here?
I am probably sticking with Decky. I think he's still a little too cheap. I think he finished 13th last week. Played pretty well again. One little slip up of a round and nobody was catching Lashley. So I was pretty happy with him. I don't know, like it's kind of gross to play a $9,500 Rory Sabatini, right? But like that price seems right for him, especially in this field. Like he's been playing really well. But the guy that I'm super interested in, I think Bryson is like right at the beginning of his upswing through the end of the season. I think we're going to be able to get Bryson at his lowest ownership and possibly one of his lowest prices this week.
I mean, he's had one strong tournament this season, and that was Travelers.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just saying, right? I mean, obviously the talent's there, but like we just haven't seen it all year.
Yeah, I mean his ball striking has been trending upwards, though he's been scoring reasonably well. He's again another guy who will go like 66, 74 and just completely like screw his chances of really factoring into the whole tournament. But he's been sort of, on the upswing as far as results go. He had that stretch after the Masters where he missed 3 cuts in a row, and now he's made 3 cuts in a row. So not the dominant guy that we saw in like August and September last year, but certainly I think he's not far off. And I think if he has another top 5 finish or something this week, and honestly, it wouldn't shock me if he won this week. When are we ever going to get him, at this price with this ownership? I don't know. It probably won't happen for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, you have a good point there. Rory Sabatini, though, in 9,500, you just said it. There's no good feeling out of that.
No.
I mean,
but I think it's right.
Yeah. The price is right, I guess, right? I mean, going into the season, I obviously didn't expect to pay even $8,000 for Rory Sabatini, let alone 9,500 in any tournament, right? Regardless of the field. So, I mean, you can certainly make the case for him this week. Absolutely. You can make the case really for any of these guys. It's in this top range here.
Yeah.
All right, let's go down here. We'll talk about our $8,000 to $9,400 guys. Of course, we talked about Joaquin the Dream, but there's also Tony Finau at 9,200, Sungjae Im at 9K, Streelman 8,900. Obviously, there's quite a bit here in terms of talent. Where do you want to go? I would say, well, I don't know. Sanjay Eam. I was gonna say Sanjay Eam, but no.
No?
He's got a cold lately.
Yeah?
Especially on the ball striking brigade.
Well, what's lately?
Lately, I mean,
Let
the
me
last
guess.
couple
Last
rounds.
24 rounds.
Oh yeah, wow. See now, it's just mean now.
I mean, he hit like he hit 70% of his greens at the Travelers and 76% of his greens last week. What do you?
I'm trying to
What do
find.
you want from the guy?
Hold on, I just want to see his ball striking in recent tournaments.
I just feel
Why
like I
can't
have
I
to
find
remind you that golf is played on a course and not a spreadsheet, Evan. I don't know why you're.
I don't know why
you're
you keep telling me this.
It's important to remember.
It's important to do a lot of things. It's important to drink 8 glasses of water a day.
I mean, he's broken 70 in 9 of his last 12 rounds. I feel like this is a bad one again.
All right. See, Kevin Kisner last week barely snuck into the top 50. So I feel like that was a win in my book.
I'm just saying. You're saying he's not ball striking and he isn't playing well, but
He's
has
82nd in the field in ball striking in the last 24 rounds.
Well, yeah, but that includes the 3 missed cuts that he had in a row. He's made 4 cuts since then and has a 7th place and
It's actually 2 missed cuts in a row.
What?
It was 2 missed cuts in a row.
He missed the Byron Nelson, the PGA, and the
Why does it say he came in 83rd? That's a mistake. All right, that's my fault. It just says he came in 83rd.
He was MDF.
Okay, MDF'd. So that's technically a missed cut.
Yeah.
Might be.
Or not.
I
don't know.
It's a semi-missed cut.
In any case, he's been playing, despite reports, he's been playing very well lately.
21st and 21st. That's not going to do it for me, though.
I know, but put it on last 12 rounds.
All right. You know what? For you.
This is really good radio. Let's see how quick Evan's internet is.
All right. 33rd snooze fest. For a $9,000 player, I don't want to be
33rd in what?
Anything. Ball striking.
Get out of here with your strokes gained and your pocket protectors and your freaking bifocals. All right.
Do you want me to pull out strokes gained? You want me to pull out strokes gained golf shots? I'll pull out the strokes gained golf shots on you.
No, please don't. Just get that guy to go away, please.
There's takes to be had. Yeah. I'm not going to share those takes, but there's takes to be had. Anyway, continue.
Thanks for really bringing down the show. Yeah, this is an egregious one by you.
I'm not saying no. All right, I'm not saying. I'm not. My take on Sanjay Eam is not anywhere near my take on Kevin Kisner. Like, I don't think he's going to top 10, which I feel like he has to do in order to justify a rostering and a GPP at this price.
Does he?
At 9,000, I feel like he has to top 10.
I mean, it depends on his ownership. If he's like 10 or 12% owned, then probably not.
Maybe top 15 at that point, but like top 15 at worst.
Yeah.
Overall, but I feel like he's still not going to top 15.
Right.
Like top 20, sure, but not top 15.
Well, fire up the PGA Birdies notifications, and you will be getting lots and lots of tweets from me because I am off for the rest of the week, and I got nothing but time.
Oh. That's got to be dangerous for someone involved. I guess that's me.
Yeah, it's not great.
You know what? How about this? Okay, so you can send me the birdie tweets, but I'll send you the CFL touchdown notifications.
No, I'd rather die. I don't have bad takes about the CFL, though. That's the difference.
That's true. All right. That's
because I don't even acknowledge that it exists.
That's first off mean, but second, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, Streelman is a smash as usual.
Absolutely.
He's the model has him at like $1,500 too cheap.
Yeah, Keegan should not Keegan. I just no.
Wow, Freudian slip there.
Very Freudian slip. No, Kevin Streelman, he should definitely be at least in the mid 9s.
You can make for sure could make a case that he could be the same price as Sabatini.
Yeah.
Like that's not unreasonable.
That's not a bad take at all. I mean, Streelman's been on fire lately.
Yeah.
And this tournament, at least with this field, I don't see how that could stop.
Right.
So
there you go.
There's that.
Heard it here first, folks. Kevin Streelman.
Keegan, absolutely not. I'm just not having any of that. What about Ryan Moore?
Maybe
700. No take on him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a little bit too cheap. He just never really seems to be like a guy that I'm in on. Like, how many times have I ever mentioned him on the show? Seriously, like I can't even.
He always
I can't think of a
priced.
time where I went in like really like hard in on him. I really can't. I can't think of a tournament. He just missed a cut last week in just a god awful field. Couldn't hit any greens. I don't know. He was playing fine before that, but it's all over the place. It's 70% of greens, 58% of greens, 56% of greens, 76%. Like he's just all over the place. So I don't feel like you need to take a risk like that at 8,700 when you have Streelman for $200 more. When you have the other guys that we've mentioned already, Neiman, a few, like you can find $500 and just play Neiman instead.
Yeah,
that's my take.
Absolutely. All right. Kevin, not. I mean, what are your strong takes here?
All the Streelman
in this pricing range.
All the Streelman, some of the Piercy. Apparently Charles Howell is the thing again. And like I said, like Neiman is the guy. Neiman and Streelman are the two guys.
What is Chucky 3 Sticks? What is he doing right now? Like
just doing all the things.
What is he doing? He 35th at Rocket Mortgage, 52nd at the U.S. Open, missed cut at the Memorial, 41st at PGA.
Yeah,
missed cuts.
He played
at
well
Wells
this past
Fargo.
Week.
What?
He played well this past week.
No, he didn't. 35th.
He hit 70% of his greens.
So, at this course, he should be hitting at least 70% of his greens. He's a PGA golfer. If a PGA golfer isn't hitting 70% of the greens at that course, they should not be on the PGA Tour. I would actually, at that point,
I don't think that's a thing.
At that point, I would struggle to say that they should even be on the Web.com Tour.
You're just making things up now.
All right. What about Nate Lashley? He's finally in the player pool again. 8,300.
I mean, sure, if you want to play him, you can.
No. See, I can't make any bold takes on Lashley because then he's going to miss the cut.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you... is there like a long track record of guys who never have like really won anything and are in their mid-30s going wire to wire and then playing the next week and doing well? Is that a trend that I should be aware of?
Well, no. I mean, if they're playing well, if they're playing in good form, I don't see how that just disappears once they win a tournament.
How did Reeve do last week?
That doesn't matter.
So it's the same fucking thing. What do you mean it doesn't matter? It's literally the same exact thing. He came out like crazy on Thursday, and then
then he shoots a 76. That's one bad round. Like, okay.
Oh, now it's one bad round. He should be on the Web.com Tour though, because he didn't hit 70% of his greens that day.
But he hit 70% of his greens in the first round, and that's what matters.
Oh God. Just, I don't know. Is this like a CFL thing, like moving the goalposts the whole game, or?
Well, they literally did move the goalpost.
Oh God, I don't care about CFL. I'm sorry.
From back to front. So if you really want to, if you want to make references to moving the goalpost,
I don't.
You asked.
I didn't.
All right. So let's go. Let's dip below the 8Ks here. We'll get to our 7K guys. I mean, there is Colin Morikawa.
Yep.
Who I hope I pronounced his name correctly.
Yep. Close enough.
All right, there you go. And then there's Peter Malnati, which I feel like you have a take on.
I do have a take on. I tweeted about him. Last night, I believe. The over at Rotoviz, we have the Pivots app that throws in all their major stats and tries to find close comps. And Malnati is Brooks Koepka's closest comp. And I would imagine that Malnati actually gives a shit about this week, unlike Koepka. So what could possibly go wrong, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he's been, but serious, and like all joking aside, like he's been playing very well. Just sort of, in general, relative to his baseline or whatever you want to call it, he's made 5 straight cuts. He's hitting an average of like 72% of his greens, somewhere around there, over the past couple of weeks. So, I mean, fire him up, right? Like, he had a bad Sunday, but
yeah, I mean, you need value, right? We need to find value if we want to go top heavy with some of these lineups,
right?
Or at least just get one of these high price guys. So we definitely need to find the value. Peter Malnati is a place to find it. Cameron Tringale, obviously. I don't. The fuck did I do now?
I'm just glad you didn't say Triangle.
Yeah, no, Triangle almost came out.
Cameron Triangle is a great play this week. He's way too cheap. Malnati and Tringale, I think you could both play. You could play together pretty confidently to start off a cash lineup and be able to pay for a little bit up top. He's kind of been playing the best that we've seen him play, probably, I don't know, for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I mean, he got 23rd at Byron, 11th at the RBC Canadian Open, and then 5th at Rocket Mortgage.
Right.
He's been playing relatively out of his mind for maybe, just under 2 months.
Yeah, but I mean, he has played well in spurts like this before. It's not like completely out of the realm of possibility that he can, play really well this week and then at the John Deere and then, not play the Open because he won't qualify and then like kind of fade through the rest of the summer. I mean, we only have 5 weeks until the playoffs start.
Yeah.
Which is kind of wild because of how the schedule switched up this year. So I think you can confidently play Tringale this week. If you're going down a little bit from there, I think, I don't know, I might have a little bit of interest in Straka, again, because I'm a glutton for punishment. Doc Redman is coming off a really good week. Jonas Blixt.
Oh, man. One of these days he's going to come through.
What is coming through for Jonas Blixt, though?
I guess what 29th. I mean, 29th at Rocket Mortgage, I guess, is coming through.
Like,
relative to his.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing's going to. Like, he came 5th at the Charles Schwab. Like, he's not going to do that again.
No, maybe not.
Until maybe next year's Charles Schwab.
Yeah, or like, the team event again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that he's fine this week. 7,200. Like, what do you need? You need a made cut. If he hits the bonus and finishes in the top 30, then even better. And he just did it last week in a similarly shitty field, so why not, right?
Yeah, no, you're right.
If that's not a ringing endorsement, folks, then I don't know what is.
It's gotta be something, right? What about Corey Connors? I kind of have some Corey Connors interest just because in the last 24 rounds played, he's the number 1 ball striker.
It's intriguing.
And he's only 7,400. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm concerned that he may be like maybe he doesn't own a putter anymore, or he's like using his driver as his putter, or there's no other explanation for why he's been putting and has such a shitty short game
Oh
lately.
yeah, no, the putting is absolute dog shit. But
It's crazy.
everything getting there, everything getting to the green, he's been fine.
He hit 83% of his greens last week in Detroit and missed the cut because he averaged 33 putts per round. 33 putts per round is wild.
That is egregious. For a professional golfer, that is egregious.
But for especially when you figure 83% of greens regulation, even if they're not that close and they hit the green, you should still be mostly two putting.
Yeah, I mean he'd be $1,100 more if he could putt.
Yeah. Oh, easily. So
very easily.
I mean, this has kind of been his MO. You
But
know,
don't you have to like if we're gonna call putting slightly more random than other statistics? Like, wouldn't you agree?
Maybe, but I think that he has.
I feel like you have to roster him at the very least. Like, if you're gonna multi-enter, you have to roster him in at least a couple lineups, just in case he gets putting at some point. Like, if he understands it at some tournament at some point, he's very talented. Tee to green, that if he could putt, he could top 5.
So he has, I have 56 events from him in my database.
Yeah.
Actually, make it 48 because a few of them there's no strokes gained putting. So 48. How many times do you think he's gained more than 2 strokes on the greens?
I'm gonna say 5.
5.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
5 times.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. In the 5 times he's done it, he won Valero doing it.
You were hoping that these results are a little bit better. I just saw your face switch when you noticed that it was like a 53rd, a 45th, and a 39th.
But he also came in 3rd at Sony, which that's a tough field.
In his best putting performance ever, he finished 39th at the Sony. Like, it's insane.
But he's turned it around. No, like he's turned it around though, tee to green, because that was just a bad tee to green performance.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it usually if you gain 6 strokes putting, you're probably going to finish in the top 10. Like it takes a pretty wild performance for you not to do that. And he's only gained strokes once in his last 6 starts, probably 7 because the Masters he didn't play particularly well, even though he made the cut. So I don't know. I guess, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did the same thing that he's done the past couple of weeks again this week.
Yeah. All right. Going down the line here, he did mention Doc Redman. I do want to mention a name here at 7,000, Max Homa, or Max Homa, however you want to pronounce that O. Obviously a very tilting golfer for me the past couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But he has it statistically. Like, the stats have been kind of in his favor, aside from the finishing position. Right? I mean, again, last 24 rounds. Like, I guess the meme at this point. Eighth in the field in strokes gained total. 7th ball striking. 13th tee to green. 9th off the tee. 15th on approach. 43rd in putting. He's got to get it together at some point. Like this is just like this has to positively regress at some point.
Sure.
To parlay into a decent performance. And I know he won Wells Fargo, but the performances since then, 64th at PGA, 27th at Charles Schwab, 37th Memorial, miscut at the Travelers, and then 42nd at the Rocket Mortgage.
Right.
It's going to come together at some point. I just don't know if this is the week. Could be.
It could be. I don't know. He's not really. I don't know. Maybe it could happen. I don't know. He didn't jump off the page to me at first, but it definitely makes some sense. I think Lebiota right under him at 6,900. He missed the cut last week, and that hurt a little bit because I had 50% of him. But he's not far off. He hit a ton of greens and putted like Corey Connors. So that's where they get you. You know, you have to actually finish the entire hole and get the ball, in that little thing. So
wow, very a very deep description.
I mean,
I don't want
to go too far into the weeds here with the golf terminology, but you have to get it into the hole at the end.
Absolutely. There's one other golfer I want to mention because the rest of this field is just crap. And if
there's only one answer,
Hank Lebota.
No, besides him.
Who?
I just said Lebiota.
Yeah, I know you said Lebiota. Who else?
What's your answer? And I'll tell you if you're right.
So now I just want to guess your guy.
You're never gonna guess.
Is it Zach Sucker?
No.
All right, I'm bad. Who?
Josh Teeter.
Oh God, where is he?
6,500.
All right.
Just super cheap. Has made 4 straight cuts. Hit 80% of his greens last week. Hits a ton of fairways. He's not super long, but like I said at the beginning, I don't know that is a huge deal breaker here. And I just think he's for 6,500 in this field. I think he's a pretty as safe as you get as far as made cuts for almost the minimum.
I mean, for 6,500, if you can get 35th or maybe even slightly better out of him, sure.
Yeah, I have him at 7,700.
All right.
So
I don't mind it, I guess.
Take it or leave it.
I mean, he's fine on approach. Decent enough ball striker.
Right.
Right.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, so if Josh Teeter gets in the optimal lineup, you know who to thank.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our cash game locks, and then we'll scurry on out of here. I'll take Brooks just out of pure regret if I don't.
Oof.
And I will take Kevin Streelman.
I like it. I think I'm gonna go Decky, and I was gonna go Streelman, but now I feel like I shouldn't.
You can go whoever you want, dude.
No, just because like you said it.
The ultimate cooler, I imagine.
No, I'll go Decky and Neiman.
All right.
I think this is Neiman's week.
Sounds good. This has been the Bogey Free Podcast for the 3M Open. Make sure to subscribe on both iTunes and YouTube under Bogey Free DFS. And of course, if we're not winning all the money, we hope you guys do. So good luck in your contests this week.
See you.